top 100. You can pass out the booklets, Lynn, to everyone on the committee. What you're going to see on the first page, the people who we're going to honor are the founders. That would be myself, Tyrone Williams, Joe Hicks, Aaron Rivers, who passed away, may he rest in peace, Alonzo Brown, and Tyrone Brown. The sponsors will be Dan Frawley, Mayor James Seals, Marvin Thomas, Joe Williams when we didn't have any money, Charles Potter, and the Neighborhood House. The referees, Jack Booker, Danny Hicks, Ike Reason, Bob Cannon, Lucky Perry, Naeem Ali, Earl Briscoe, and Richard King. And then we will also honor everyone who was on the committee. And we have no idea how my sister got in here. They're supposed to lock the doors. How she got in here, I have no idea. Rob brings people up. So then you will see the people on the committee. And then this is the list, man, to your left. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. You have Phil Anderson, Damon Bagwell, Jerry Barnes, Ralph Blaylock, Abdu Bey, Eric Blackston, Art Bowers, Troy Boyer, Clinton Brown, Lenny Brown, Mike Bryson, Alex Carson, LaRon Cephas, Devin Chambers, Darrell Chambers, Matt Chittums, Doc Chittum, Paul Coleman, Corey Curtis, Joe Carson, Jermaine Crawford, Calvin Copeland, Troy Davis, William Davis, Ricky Delweiler, Mark Eggerson, Vincent Garlick, John Gordon, Aaron Gosar, Carlos Hawkins, Shelton Hammond, Josh Hill, Ugundi Jacobs, Luday Johnson, DeCourcy Jameson, Vincent Kent, Carl Lemon, Anthony Laws, Chris Laws, Howard Laws, Gary Lumpkin, Marquise Lopez, Jamil Moore, Jermaine Melly, Andrew Miles, Andrew Barkley Mills, Earl Miller, Ray Marshall, Shannon McCann, Jamie McDaniels, Eric McNair, Corey Ponzo, Cy Pettyjohn, woo, I like Cy, Lloyd Price, Andre Ryder, Lawrence Redden, Theron Sheehy, Will Sheridan, Buster Snow, Ryan Smith, George Bam Bam Stewart, Duffy Samuels, Anthony Southern, Cleon Stewart, Darrell Dollar, J.J. Taylor, Jerome Thornton, Damon Trawick, Darnell Vaughn, Tony Washam, Nate T. Watson, Shannon Showtime Williams, Mike Winters, Anthony Wilson, Lenny Williams, Tyson Waterman, John Williams, Corey Wallace, Stephen Williams, Shannon Willis. Okay, Tracy or Miss T, which one of y'all want to take the girls? Go ahead, T. Hold it.
All right, here we go. Tracy Howe, Tyra Lusby, Tiara Malcolm, Monique Foote, Nikki Paul, Katie Davis, Felicia Camper, Yolanda Parrish, Dana Rome, Tawana Pennywell, Diane Armstrong Williams, Natasha Howard, Siobhan Burke, Bridget Benson, Aaron Mills Reed, Lindsay Dial, Marquita Hollingsworth, Khadijah Rushton, Gina Comla, and Kiara Manlove.
And this was the committee who made the decision. Myself, my wife, who's the co-chair, Stan Waterman, Alexis Nickel, Darren Kellum, Ken Swingen, Mark Seals, Mike Miller, Ron Pinkett, Wayne Jefferson, John Armstrong, Rob Oliver, Mike Hare, Rob Buccini, Tiara Malcolm, Tracy Howe, Tyrone Brown, Alonzo Brown, Vincent Garlick, Bob Cannon, Jack Booker. And, it was also important for us because there were trailblazers. Demetrius White, I just felt in my heart we had to take care of him. Terence Stansberry, who was the first NBA player from this state. A.J. Inglis was the first NBA player to ever play in my league. LaRon Prophet was the first NBA player downstate to ever play in the league. Robbie Ryder, who was the first impaired guy. I had to take a sign language course because we started getting kids in our league who were hearing impaired, so I took a sign language course. Harvey Spiller was the first white player to play in our league, and he died in a plane accident. He, his father, and his mother, so we wiped out a whole family, but I thought that we should honor this guy. Freddie Mason, who was the head of the Referee Association, and he really took care of us when we had guys who were refereeing with shirts and skins and really just volunteering, but he took us to another level when he brought certified referees in, so we honored Freddie Mason. Sherelle Taylor, who coached in our boys' league and girls' league, she won a lot of championships, so we thought it was necessary to honor her. Brian Wright ran our league in Newcastle. And by the way, for the record, guys, everybody sitting in here, I didn't know how to honor people downstate. We had a downstate league in Seaford, Georgetown, Dover, Smyrna, Newcastle. Newcastle league was very competitive. And I thought that they should be a part of this committee, but you can't. We just couldn't do it with time constraints. So I thought that it would be good that we at least honor B. Wright, who did an outstanding job, as most of you know. Joe Easton won many championships in that league, and Darren Kellum's kind of like, I don't know, that's debatable, but I think the records show. Elena Dulladine, who played in our league, won a couple games or whatever, but we got to honor her because her and her brother played in our league, and she played in the WNBA. So how can you not honor her? And, of course, so Chuck Brown, right, he coached in one of the most talked about games ever in the history in the Classic, and they called it the Midnight Championship game because the game started at, say, 5 o'clock and ended in midnight. It kept going overtime after overtime after overtime. And so maybe one or two decisions I made out of this, and I had that right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the list. On all sincerity, I know there's been a lot of conversation in the city, right? I thought you did an excellent job of honoring people from the 80s to 2000s, because who would say what Carl Lemon did in 1980 against Will Sheridan in the 1990s against the DeCourcy Jameson in 2000? I think that he would do well. Who would say what Vincent Garner could do against a Lenny Brown or a Tell Davis? I think he would do well, right? You never saw Ray Marshall. I mean, you know Vincent Kent, but we saw these guys, and we got to honor these guys who play with no shirts. They had no shirts.
That's right.
They played shirts and skin. And then, you know, a guy like Ike Reason, Mike, who played with you at Howard, he came down the park and saw what we were doing, and he volunteered to referee. Lucky Perry, who passed away, he came down to volunteered. Guys like Naeem Ali and these guys never got paid a dime, but they volunteered. So we had to honor these people. We honored the past, the present, and future. And like, you know, I mean, me biased, I thought, I won't say a few names I like are not on this list, but I thought that overall, I think you guys got it right. And again, when we leave here, we got to be on one accord. It's not that, you know, I voted for Phil Anderson, but I see John Doe's not on here, because you'll be brown nosing, right? I mean, anybody sitting here. When we out of here, Mark, we all were on one accord. This is the list we voted on. I stand by it. I think it's a nice. Now what we got to do, the message got to be what the league stood for: camaraderie, unity. We kept a lot of people off the streets. We kept a lot of violence off the streets. You know, kids who play for Howard, kids who play for William Penn, kids who play for Glasgow all played together. Kids who play for Sanford, you know what I mean? Like Cat Miller and Stan Waterman may have coached different schools, but the kids played together, right? So, and I think Alexis was talking to me today, most of the incidents even we had at the league, we never had cops. It was girls. It was never really the guys. And I said it on camera because I could say it, right? But so it is what it is, man. But again, I'm very proud and honored to be a part. And you could put this out now. I mean, you could take a picture, put it on Facebook. Ain't no secrets no more. But now what we got to do is encourage folks who are not on this list to be there and tell stories and be a part of something that I think was special. Would y'all agree with that? Yeah. I think that we need to make sure that everybody comes down to the Chase Center and hear what Sonny Vaccaro did for us. Hear what Terence Stansberry did. Terence Stansberry brought us trophies when we didn't have them. When A.J. English played in the league, he gave us credibility before we had it. When Doc Chittum walked across from the west side to South Bridge, he gave us credibility. When Vincent Garlick, who was an all-stater at Newark High School, he gave us credibility. So this is what it is, and that's what it's about. When Stan Waterman coached in my league and went on down, he's at Delaware State University and played at University of Delaware, it gave us credibility. When we went out to Vegas, right, for the first time, right guys? It gave us credibility, even though Bob Kennedy tried to steal your money. And I think I'd be remiss, Rob, if we didn't thank you and your staff for all you guys are doing.
Only the finest for Norman.
And Rob,
Only does Norman, Tiger Woods in the building, only Norman upstages Tiger.
that's right. Hey, Rob, why don't you talk a little bit about what we were talking about today about a room we're trying to find?
Yeah, Norman wants to have a Hall of Fame room, and so we were talking briefly today about where it would go and how it would look. But I think we all think that'd be really, really cool to do something like that. I just want to go on record. I didn't have a vote, so anyone that doesn't agree with the vote, I had nothing to do with it. But I enjoyed being part of this.
And you like Steve. And you like Steve Wynn, you got all the buildings here, so we'll find a little place. And Lynn, did you want to say anything about how the process was and how it was with getting all the names and stuff, putting it together?
Oh, it was very tedious, but it was very fun at the same time because I didn't know anybody. And so but it was very tedious. I actually solicited some help in Atlanta. We sit around the table, went through the numbers, and started putting them together. And so Storm would come by and say, "Who's that on there?" And I was like, no, the numbers speak for themselves. So I thought it was very fair. Again, I didn't know anybody, so it made me, to be unbiased, so I didn't even want to go there. But it was very good and very challenging at the same time. And then I got an opportunity to talk to some of the guys that was a part of it. And then when I did that, it was very encouraging. Who was the gentleman from California, was it California?
Alex Carson?
Yeah, he was just telling me how being Caucasian, coming into the league, how it changed his life. It changed his life so much that it kind of, it was the driving force in how he married and how he raised his children. He said because he would have never come into this neighborhood had it not been for Stormin Classic, and he wouldn't have never been exposed to guys that were of another culture and ethnicity had it not been for Stormin's Classic. And it caused him to raise his children to appreciate all mankind. So I thought that was powerful. And just so many stories that I heard, Wolf, I think it was, right? Just so many different stories and how the Classic was where they would go and get meals sometime because they couldn't even go home and eat, or how they didn't have a ride and they just didn't want to miss it. So the stories were heart-wrenching. I can just still remember we would sit on the phone crying and just how it changed their lives. So I just want to say to all of you in the room, what a phenomenal job you did. And just coming together, and this had to be hard because it was even hard for me to go through, but it was a very difficult process, but it was very good and rewarding. But just to say how you took the time out, even being young yourself and then taking that challenge to help others. So I congratulate you all and salute you at the same time, and thank God for Stormin.
Now open the floor if anybody want to have it. Here, you need the mic in front of him. You grab it, set it, push it down that way.
Real quick, just to piggyback off of your wife's sentiments. I remember we had just got finished doing a community service, which we were known for, going throughout the city. And at the same time, Ruth Ann Minner was speaking at this, and I think I had the privilege of being a commissioner, quasi-commissioner, for about 9 or 10 years of the Classic. And Ruth Ann Minner said that day, after everybody was together, children had trash bags and plastic gloves on. And she said, I can't forget to give credit. This is when I really knew that the Classic was what it was. And I'm standing there in the background, as always. And she said, we need to give credit to the man who saves Wilmington every summer. And I said to myself, wow, this is how big this thing is, that this was all from your vision, and everybody was all bought in. And I just think that needed to be said, that our governor at the time said that Stormin's Classic saved Wilmington. And I think that that was just big, and what your wife was just saying, how heartfelt it was. And I knew I was a part of something that was big at that time. And it just, thank you for letting me be on board. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, this was very, very touching to me. Like Norm was saying, you know, when we started this back then, how hot it was and how we walked around the community and knocked on doors and asked for a lot of people to help us out and try to put this together, because this particular summer, you know, we had nothing to do. You know, it was just dead. It wasn't nothing going on. But to see what it did, you know, and how we changed people's lives, how we brought families together in homes, and how we brought brothers and sisters and parents and stuff together and coming out to support their children and going to the homes and picking up the children and doing all these things, and to see how it escalated to where it did. You know, I'm gonna give a personal experience I had. When we gave the reunion that time down at the 76 basketball field, when we had the guys play and everything, and Stan came in and we had it down there. You know, you coach so many guys and you went through so many every year, you just couldn't remember them as they got older. But this guy came over to me, this Caucasian guy came over to me when I was, you know, sitting in the stand, and he looked at me, came on, he said, "Hey, coach," you know, and I looked at him and I was like, he said, "Remember me? I played for you," you know, and he said his name to me and stuff at that time, and I said, "Oh my gosh, man," you know, and I just like started crying, you know, because it touched me so much. He said, "Man, thank you so much, man, for what you did." You know, and he said, "Here, let me give you my card, man. I'm an attorney now." You know what I mean? Introduced me to his wife and his children. So, if nothing else, that's what we did most. You know, and this was the only basketball league that I can ever think of that was ran free. You know, these guys didn't have to do nothing but show up. You know, I mean, they got everything. You know, sneakers, jackets, hats, shirts. I mean, everything. And we never had no drama. We was not only coaches, we was mentors, we was fathers, we was big brothers to a lot of these guys, you know, and to the girls and stuff, man. That's who we were. And if we didn't do nothing else, God gave us all we did and gave Norman what he did to help change lives, and we did it throughout the state and the city of Wilmington, and this the result.
Just one thing that we did a lot of important things when it comes to education, when it comes to volunteering, having the kids go and clean up in the community. But one thing that I think we're missing that's very, very important that the Stormin Classic did for the kids was that, you know, we dealt with a lot of single parent mothers, right? And for me, one of the most important things that we did was that we was fathers, we was uncles, we was cousins, we was mentors. That's what we was to those kids. When the parents couldn't, I guess, communicate or deal with their kids in some kind of way because they were being rebellious, they would come to the referees, they would come to the coaches and say, "Hey, can you talk to our kids?" So for me, the important thing is that role that we played for our youth in the basketball league. You know, sometimes, again, we was the father, we was the uncle, we was the cousin, we was the role model, we was that person they looked up into the neighborhood. And so that's the kind of impact, to me, that pushed the kids in the right direction and the impact that the Stormin Classic had. So that was very important to me and a big impact.
I just want to say real quickly to everybody around this room, the guys and the young and the ladies, you know, we did a hell of a job. Just think about it going back for that time and all those kids. It is a hell of a job. And of course, Stormin putting this thing, only he could pull this off like he pulled it off for 20-something years, and now I'm pulling this off right here. And Lynn, you sitting there going through all that work because, you know, we talked all the time, and you was like, my Lord, this is really tough. But, hey, look, once again, we pulled it off. And, you know, the 29th of September is going to be outstanding. and we'll say we pulled it off again. I love to see these guys telling their kids how great they were. You know, it gets embellished like that. That the one guy said, well, I scored 38 points back then, was only a 40-point game. How you get 30 points? But you're going to get them stories. Come on now, y'all know it. But guys, you know, hey, Storm, hell of a job, man. Thank you for just all that you envision on this, man. What a tribute to just the state of Delaware that we did this thing.
Y'all want to say anything? Go ahead. Pass this down, Jack.
First, thank you for the opportunity. It was a pleasure to get reintroduced to a lot of you. I know when I first walked into the room, I'm like, wait, can everyone introduce themselves? And it's like, oh, I know your mom. Oh, I know your dad. But it just reflects on the big community of the city of Wilmington. And as we look across the table and you talk about the committee, there's 2 females on the committee. And the Classic was more than basketball. Like, I have a lifelong sister because we started playing against each other and playing with each other in Stormin Classic. And then we became AAU teammates. And then we became college teammates. So it was way bigger than just the games. It was way bigger than going to the classrooms and stuff like that. So thank you for the opportunity. Even this many years later, I'm so appreciative of it.
I'm going to tell you a story, right? I was in Florida, and I knew she was coaching on Sunday. She was like, it's little things like that. You know what I mean? That range. And I just want to tell you thank you so much.
Can I? Absolutely. Well, first of all, let me say thank you, Storm, for all that you have done. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Again, I really want to start by saying thank you, Storm, for all that you've done for this community, for the state of Delaware, and I would say nationally, because the impact is far-reaching. This is an impressive group of people in this room that you have assembled to pull this off, but when I look at that list, it's even more impressive. And this is just a fraction of the people in the lives that you have touched through this program. You know, and it's hard not to even get emotional when you think about it. You talk about basketball and all the accolades, and the city's buzzing right now about who's going to be in that top 100. And that's important, and that's enough to generate some excitement and some enthusiasm, but it's bigger than that. And we can go around this table, we can sit here for hours, and guys and girls can regale you stories about what they did and their experiences in the Classic. And people are going to be talking about that throughout the state for the next year, So to me, the big takeaway is even for people to kind of relive some of that, the glory, but the legacy that you are leaving with what you've done for this league and this city and this state, unmatched, probably never duplicated. I don't think anybody else will be able to do and reach as many people as you have reached. Again, not just the basketball, the educational component, the service component, just the networking. Again, when you look around this room and the people that, it's amazing. It's amazing. I can't think of too many people that I know that would be able to pull something off like you have done, and even taking it to the next level. And something's going to springboard from this. Just knowing you, I know something else is on the horizon from this. And looking forward to that. But I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm really happy to be a part of it and pleased to have been a part of the league myself. I got my coaching start there when I was a young fella. Young. Because I'm old now. I'm old now. But I've enjoyed it, man. I appreciate everything that you do and that you've done.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what was gonna be on the list, but when I read every name on the list, I'm gonna be honest with you. It seemed like you hit it right on the head with all the names. Wow, I'm saying, really, truly. I mean, that was it. That was everybody that's supposed to have been on that list. And of course, we run into situations where some people would think they should be on a list or whatever. I'm a firm believer in promoting not the jackets, but what it did for everybody that played. For me, it was I've been around Delaware basketball, involved with it for 60 years. If I go back from my joining the boys club, so I know everything and I've just been around. I've been blessed to be around. But for me, it was like when you walk around and you see guys that tell you remember when you picked me up, and you remember when we would go into the whole old folks' homes where you take them to the grocery stores and get tomatoes and vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. And I was blessed to have 4 sons that played in it. You can hear me now. I get choked up about certain things. I'm an emotional guy. But it was huge. It was the biggest thing that happened for Wilmington. And, I just want to salute the committee and salute you and your wife, because, listen, you hit it on the nose with names that I'm like, I'm reading it. I had anxiety myself. But I'm looking at it, it's an amazing list, man. And we did well. And Storm, you Storm, man. So, we all love you, man. Yeah.
Yeah, not only did we help the kids, man, but we also created a family. Like some of you guys, if it wasn't for the Classic, I would have never met, because I wouldn't have went over Southbridge. I live over North Side. But now when I see you guys, man, you guys my family. You know what I mean? We united. We on one. Even if we don't see each other for like 10, 15 years, the phone ring, I see a Storm. Yo, man, what's happening? You know what I mean? And we reminisce. And we did a lot of good work for the kids, man, but it also did something for us, because a lot of us wasn't living right neither when the Classic started. So it made us stand up and be men, so we can mentor the kids, because the world was saying that we didn't care about our kids. But we got a group of men and young ladies together, man, and we showed Delaware and anybody else that we can straighten up and take care of our own, man. Like, we ain't need police over there, because we was a police, man. So I thank you for the opportunity for allow a guy from me from Northside to come participate and still be able to participate, because you guys my family.
All right, for those of you who don't know, I played in Stormin when I was 10. I was like 10 playing with high schoolers and actually some girls who were getting ready to go to college. So it was my first tournament, my first league ever. So I was scared to death when they did put me in the game. First pair of basketball sneakers that my dad bought. And I was one of those kids in the city. I had a single mom, 4 kids, and I had a dad who worked at Chrysler, so he worked long hours. So, I just want to give praise to some of the unsung heroes. You have Mr. Larry Morris, who would bring 2 sets of teams to the Stormin Normans to play basketball. So he would drop us off, which was about 5 to 10 girls in his little Bronco, and he would go back and get another set of girls and bring them to the gym. So we do need to give credit to those that, may not have made this list, but made that league work. A lot of girls that play because he would ride around the city and just tell kids about it and, bring them actually to the gym to play. So for some of us, that was our first start in basketball, including myself. So I just want to say thank you, because I met a lot of girls. That's my lifelong sister. We've been everywhere together. And even playing in your league, people saw me playing there and wanted me to play higher. They wanted me to go to Philadelphia and play. They wanted me to go down D.C. and play. Just from me playing in your league, it opened up so many doors for me. Like someone who's from the city who didn't have a lot of money or resources to play basketball. I went on to play college. And now I've actually met some of my coaches. Now that I'm a grown woman, I've been able to run into some of my coaches. So it's a great feeling to be able to share like my success stories from playing in a Stormin Norman, so that they can see that I became a successful woman. So I just want to say thank you for all the opportunities, all the volunteers, the refs, all the volunteer coaches for, giving up their time, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And I get emotional when I talk about it because that was my first start. So if anybody says anything about Stormin, then they're going to have to fight me. And I think they know. Some of you guys is all online. Somebody come from Stormin, Norman, they got to see me first.
How much time I got? 30 seconds, so I'll keep it short then. Look, Storm, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I never coached a basketball game until I started coaching in the Classic. I didn't know what I was doing, screaming at people consistently. Storm called me up one day and said, look, come on my office right now. It's like, nigga, you suspended right now. Shut up. Don't talk. Look, but I talked to Storm earlier today, and I believe this when I said it to him earlier today, and I believe it now. This is one of the things that the oral history of the Classic needs to be recorded, right? Because time passes, all of us will not be here forever, right? But when sociologists and people talk about the city of Wilmington, they talk about what works, what doesn't work. We know that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, over at Bancroft, that 12 to 14 game pack, 9-11 game pack, 15 to 18. And why wasn't kids killing each other? Because you was from the north side, but Tail was on your side. Wasn't nobody from Riverside was going to mess with you because Tail had that kind of juice, right? But Storm, I don't bow down often, and I don't kiss anybody's ring, but you're the big goddamn dog, baby boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, thank you guys.
Read it one more time.
So here it is.
Wait a minute. Can you pass the mic down for me?
No.
Pass it to
Oh.
Storm.
One last time, we're gonna give them one big clap. It wasn't gonna be no secret anyway, so extra copies. And I got these shirts for everybody too. Just bring them in. I got them on the car. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go reading it again. These are the Stormers Classic Hall of Fame, never duplicated. Phil Anderson was a hell of a ball player. Two sports, man. He played a lot of sports, right? Damon Bagwell. I like Damon Grit. Jerry Barnes dunking on people. Rob Blake, like, woo! Abdul Bey. I seen Abdul Bey in one of the best games over there going against Cleon Stewart. Eric Blackson, the jumper. Artie Bowers. And Art Bowers' father was just as good as him, believe it or not. Troy Boyer had a mean crossover. Clinton Brown, who was one of my favorite guys, and plus we love his family. Lenny Brown, who was more gritty. Mike Bryson, Alex Carson hit the jump shot from 70 feet to win that game, and I think the guy walked before he passed me for Alex Carson. LaRon Cephas, may rest in peace, man. I love him. Who was more gritty than Devin Chambers, man? Daryl Chambers. Wolfie, woo! Had to go with Wolfie. I had to kick Wolfie out of a game, stepping on somebody's chest. Matt Chittum, may he rest in peace. Doc Chittum, my all-time favorite, came over to the Classic before anybody came over there. Paul, Mr. Wonderful Coleman, Corey Curtis, woo, what a gritty guy. Joe Carson, a great shooter. Jermaine Crawford, Calvin Copeland, Troy Davis. That's Worthy. You know what I mean? Yeah, you forgot Worthy, huh? Nah, somebody on the committee put his name up there a couple times, so you didn't forget him. William Tell Davis, what a shoot, and Ricky Delawala could shoot before William Davis. Trust me. Mark Ergerson was bringing the Millennium guy. Vincent Garlick, Southbridge Finest, John Gordon, Mr. Iceman, Aaron Gosser, Carlos Hawkins. If Shelton Hammond didn't make this list, he was going to beat Cisco up. Josh Hill, you Gundy Jacobs used to come to games looking like Slick Watts. LeDay Cooley Johnson, one of my favorites. DeCourcy Jameson, Manchild, Vincent Kent, Slim and Smooth, Carl Lemon. We got to give honor to Carl Lemon, the very first player in the history, the very first player selected. Anthony Laws, Chris Laws, Howard. If we didn't put Howard Laws here, another line guy. Howard Laws won more MVPs than we have. Howard Laws said, man, I won the first MVP. I said, Howard, you didn't play until 84. The league started at 80. How you going to be the first MVP? But that's a whole nother. Gary Lumpkin played for the Governor's team, and the Governor still lost. Marquise Lopez, wow, you talking about a talent. What a talent. Jamil Moore, Jermaine Melly, what a crossover, right? Was Jermaine Melly nasty? Oh. Andrew Miles, I think that team might have won undefeated, I'm not sure, but the Twins, when they coached them. See, I remember these guys. Barkley, look at Barkley on there. Earl Smooth Miller took after his daddy. And when I was saying about grit, Ray Marshall in 1980 was gritty. He was Lenny Brown before Lenny Brown. Trust me. I coached him. He collared the boy up, said, man, I'm playing. I said, whoa, man, this is non-violent sport here. Shannon McCants, my man, won as a coach, as a player. And my wife was like, Shannon, you going to put him on? I said, yeah, Shannon's my guy. Okay. Jamie McDaniels, we took him out to Vegas, man, and Jamie really should have got a Division I scholarship. He was that good in Vegas. Eric McNair was 6'9", before was 6'9", played for Cisco. Corey Ponzo was dunking. Cy Pettyjohn. Did y'all see Cy Pettyjohn play? Woo! Now, he was Bagley, right? Lloyd Price, man. Lloyd Price, Alexis, that's your guy. In the 9th grade, we took him to Maryland. They was ready to give him a scholarship on the spot in the 9th grade. Andre Ryder was gritty. Andre Ryder shut Vincent Garner down. If Vincent was here, Jack, I would tell him, but you could tell him. I know you are, but it's on camera. Lawrence Redden, Will Sheraton, hell of a player, man. I love Will. Buster Snow, gritty. Ryan Smith, I saw Ryan Smith. He was a lot thinner then. George Bam Bam Stewart, how about Bam Bam? How about Bam Bam? Duffy Samuels, how about Duffy? Anthony Sutherland, man. You remember Anthony Sutherland? That was your squad, wasn't it? Yeah, man. The Raw Dollar. Hey, Cat, he can learn from you again. Another, man, you coached a lot of gangsters, bro. J.J. Taylor, one of the best shooters. Cleon Stewart. Woo! Oh, my God. I seen Cleon Stewart go at it. But hey, Cisco, what game was that? Who was that? Who was he playing against? Was that Abdul Bey or who? No one Abdul. That was John Williams. Cleon Stewart. That boy was sweet. Where we at? JJ, best shooter. Jerome Thornton, Southbridge. You got to go with Jerome. Shoot these Muggsy Bogues. How you not gonna put him on there? Damon Trotwood, another Lexus guy. But I love him. Tony Washam, come on, man. Nate T. Watson, gritty. Showtime. Here's, look, Rob's boy, Mike Winters.
Mike Winters.
You love Mike, did you?
Love him. Give you the business.
Anthony 6'9" Wilson, another one of Cisco's guys. All of them guys were 6'9", now they all 6'5". Darnell Vaughn. Oh, I miss Darnell Vaughn. I like Darnell Vaughn. I took Darnell Vaughn to Vegas. He wore size 10, and he forgot his. He was so scared he wore boots on his. He wore boots to go to a tournament.
Yeah.
I said, Darnell Vaughn, where your sneakers at? He got on Timberlands. So I said, give him a size 18 sneaker, and he only wears 14. I said, all right, I'm done with you. Okay, where we at? Nate T. Did we say Nate T?
Lenny Williams, 75.
Lenny Williams, that's Bob's boy. If I didn't put Lenny Williams on here, I think he'd gonna shoot me and you, Bob. But Lenny Williams was one of the guys who really probably shut down Rob Blaylock. I mean, Lenny was gritty. You know, and Lenny Williams really, man, is what epitomized the classic. Like, he didn't play high school, but he played in the classic every summer, and he was tough. But he epitomized what we're all about, you know what I mean? Tyson Waterman, do I need to say any more? His uncle kind of, his uncle stuffed the ballot box. But you know what? Tyson called me and invited me to a game, man, because where's he coaching at now?
Wichita State.
And that made me feel good because they was playing at Temple. And he was thanking me, you know, and that kind of stuff, what I was saying, Tara, that makes me feel good guys who went on, but they don't forget us. You know what I mean? Tyson's one of those guys. Big John Williams, before there was a Big John Williams. Big John Williams and Abdul Bey, the game, no, that's when the scores was 32, something like that. And these guys legitimately had 26 or 24. Legitimately. Steve Williams. Oh, Corey Wallace. You know, Corey Wallace was he was a great athlete, by the way. And he won a championship. That's what I was telling you, Swing. Corey could get down. Steve Wills was the guy that they won a championship with you, right, Swing? He took a charge on the concrete and Wolfie stepped on him. I'm like, Wolfie, you can't do that. It's illegal. How about Shannon Showtime? Ooh, Shannon Willis. Shannon Willis was nice, right? See, they forget that. They forget what them guys could do. And then back to you, Tara. Tiana, go ahead.
Listen, I don't know if I can match up with that commentary, but I'm going to delete it. Just read the names. All right. Tracy Howe, you already know that's me, UD starter. You know, I have to admit to you guys, I was first round, first pick, okay? I got my jersey still. First round, first pick, okay? And my first year that I played in Stormin, we had a championship jacket. Now, I ain't participating in that championship, but I had my jacket and I wore it everywhere. Okay? Yeah. So I'm first on here. You know, I'm first on here. So I just want to let y'all know that piece of information. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's when you got all the banks in the city of Wilmington. So on the back of my jersey, it said MBNA. That's so that'll just put yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got more names. Okay. Tyra Lusby, a very quick, fast guard. T.R. Malcolm, you know, Delaware Hall of Fame. You know, that's my player. That's my person. You know, UD starter for 4 years. Can't really do anything with her now. She's starting to take over, you know, Delaware as one of the best players here. Monique Foote. Now, we all know Monique Foote. So, yeah, Mo Foote. I don't know. I think Mo Foote probably played. I can't remember. She was probably at one of those top D1 schools. Yeah, Virginia. That's what it was. I couldn't remember which one it was. But very good athlete. Always National Player of the Year. Yes. Yeah. Probably one of the biggest names on this list that most people don't know about. Nikki Paul's very good player. Very quiet. Katie Davis, Felicia Camper, Yolanda Parrish, Dana Roan. Dana Roan's from Howard. Yeah, so she is a hometown player. I think she went to Del State too. Yeah, yeah. And Dana Roan, we play now 30 and over. Dana Roan still light everybody up. Tawana Penny, well, you know, she's from here, 3rd and Clayton. I think when I was 10 years old, Mr. Larry took us to the park to play Tawana and the high school players. Now, I ain't going to say what happened, but I'm just say they lost and we were 10, 12. So she going to be mad at me for that one, but we were good. Diana Armstrong, Mr. Armstrong's daughter, she actually was my coach in Stormin, so a very good player. Natasha Howard, very good player. She actually went and got her picture and posted her 6-foot MVP Stormin's trophy online. So I took a picture of it so that way we'll be able to use it. But very good player, Siobhan Burke. She went to William Penn. Their team won the championship. They very solid player. And actually, you know what? Siobhan Burke is flying in from ESPN. She works for ESPN. She's flying in. She was like, you know what, Trace, I'm going to talk to the boss. We airing that day. We broadcasting that day. But I'm going to let them know I need that day off. So she will be here to get her jacket all the way from ESPN. Aaron Mills, Bridget Benson, Lindsay Dow. Yeah, Bridget. So she played before me, but that was the first name that, you know, I saw on this list. So I don't know very much about Bridget Benson, but her name was up there a couple times. Aaron Mills, Lindsay Dow, Marquita Hollingsworth, Khadijah Rushton. Now, that name speaks for itself. Khadijah played with us when she was like 5. All right, so she been playing a lot of basketball. She played at the center. I was like, who is this kid? When I first met her, she played, we were all like in high school when we had college players. Khadijah was scoring 20 on us then at 5 and 6. Oh, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, she went to the WNBA as well. A lot of people don't know, but she was there, and she tore her shoulder, so then she didn't play that next year. And she's coaching at, North Florida. Yeah, so, and Gina, I don't know if you know, what's her dad's name, Bob? Gina's like 6'5". Like, she's like 6'5", 6'6". Her and her sister were very good athletes. She actually went to American University, so she's flying in. She doesn't live here either, but she's flying in to get her jacket. And then Kiera Manlove. I don't know if y'all know Daryl Manlove. Yeah, that's his daughter, okay? Yeah, so she is the head coach at Westchester, been there for a long time, and she's a force to reckon. And still a force. Play just like Daryl. Like, she play hard. So if you playing her, you know, you're going to have to lace your sneaks all the way up because she's that type of player. But now she's coaching at Westchester. She still comes out to support Stormins, and she said, I got stuff to do because she's a, head coach at Westchester University, but she said, I'll be there. Yeah, you're welcome.
Seriously, give these guys another round of applause, man. And we appreciate you, seriously. Dan Frawley, when I worked for him, he sponsored the team. And once Dan Frawley sponsored the team, everybody jumped on board, you know, and I think his son's going to come. Mayor Seals, your father, Mark, would give us $100,000, you know, educational firm for the Boys and Girls Club. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have grew. Marvin Thomas, if it wasn't for guys like Marvin Thomas who sponsored early on, you know, $300, we wouldn't be here. Joe Williams, when I came home and I pledged Cap Alpha Psi, and that was the transition from shirts and skins. He brought 6 different teams. He only had $200 budget, but we went to Al's and we brought Kappa, Alpha Psi, Phi Nu Pi, and that was the first shirts that they had. If it wasn't for Joe Williams, we didn't have shirts, so we honor him. Charles Potter, people say, why would you honor him? You know, because Charles and I, when it comes to politics, we don't agree, right? But right is right and wrong is wrong. And some of you guys were around at 12 and 14. They brought energy. They had a band and bongos. I mean, that was they was bringing it. So they brought. I mean, so it is what it is. And Neighborhood House, of course, was a mainstay. And with Barbara Hicks and Mary White and those guys, they made it happen. And these were the referees, Jack Booker and these guys. They did a hell of a job. And I think Ike Reason, you know, I got to give honor. Ike was Mike, when you guys was winning championships, this guy came over there and he saw something that we didn't see, and he refereed. And, you know, then Bob, Lucky Perry, Naeem, Earl Briscoe, Rich King, these guys didn't get paid, but they helped us out. So this is it, and then nothing is more important than this committee. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and let's make it happen. Stormin's Classic for everybody.
Storm wanted to change his name.
That's right.
And I begged him to keep it.
Yeah, hey, Bob, let me give you the honors. Bob Cannon did name it Stormin's Classic. Bob Cannon. If it wasn't for Bob, it wouldn't have been named Stormin's Classic. Hey, look, man, but now what we got to do, seriously, we got to promote the 29th. If they're not on the list, we want, because it's, just think of this, man, for 1 second. This is 22 years later. We're talking about it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, Wayne, you know when we was going to Vegas, people were, I mean, we had Joe Forte play for Boston Celtics, play for us.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
He played for the Classic. What's the other boy, Wayne? Lamar Odom, all them guys play for us.
You remember Joe, Kobe played for us. Kobe
Thank
played
you.
for us over in Jersey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kobe Bryant played for us over in Jersey. All right.
Good job, man. Love y'all.